Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your August 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Sagittarius, August 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. Sagittarius, August 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Sagittarius, August 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Sagittarius, August 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Alright, Sagittarius. The bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. Our right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Hanged Man, and we have the Empress. And that's really beautiful. We have to look at a different way to bring forward the prosperity, the creativity, to birth forward what it is that we want within this world. And that's going to be something that's just a little bit hard to do. Because we like to, especially as a Sagittarius, we like to gather up information and say, well, this is how it works. You know, this is how it's worked for X amount of people. Like, this is the statistical, evidence about this. This is how I'm going to move forward. And we have to move forward during this time with more of a spiritual presence. This is the energetic feeling around the way that I'm moving forward. This is what my gut is telling me. This is how I need to create the space to move forward in. Then we have our inner self, which we have the 10 of Pentacles. I love it. The Hermit, which is Virgo energy. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Wow, you guys have a lot here. Then we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy coming forward quite powerfully. And the Ace of Swords, which is God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of insight, ideas, and powerful understanding. Our inner self, our emotional self, is the Green Man, the Fool, and the 5 of Pentacles. It's very interesting. There's a new start that's coming, but there's also this old poverty mentality that's actually very incongruous to the energy that is around us. So we're going to be thinking, I can't, when really seriously Spirit is saying, yes, you can. Yes, you can move forward the way that you want to. Yes, you can open up that new chapter. Yes, you can have the prosperity and the love and the joy that you need. Now, our public arena self starts off with the 5 of Swords. So there's something from the past coming forward that we will be having to face during this time. It brings us to the 3 of Swords, heartbreak, pain, and disappointment. It's going to be rather triggering for us, so we do have to be mindful of that. It can put us, it's almost like I'm having an argument with this person, but this isn't the person that I'm arguing with. This person is being a bully like one of my caregivers was, like a teacher was, like a sibling was. And I'm actually having that argument with that person and not the person that's standing before me. So that's going to be something to be very mindful of during this time. There can be a person in our lives that, yes, we need to stand up to, but the energy that we're going to bring forward with that argument is going to be tenfold what it needs to be for that person, because it's going to be dredging up a lot of other incidents where we didn't have our voice, where we didn't have our power, where we felt helpless. And that's what we're going to be railing against during this time. So be mindful of that, and being mindful of that brings the projection of this argument to a whole different place and brings you to a whole different success. Yeah, because the world then starts opening up, because it's like, okay, I see this. I see where this pattern is coming in. I see where this hurt has been a part of me for too long, and I'm not being held back, and I'm not being defined by it anymore. I'm being defined by the way I need to move forward for me. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time, Sagittarius. What is the energy that Sagittarius needs to be mindful of? August 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius. Okay, right here, we have the Lord, which is fire sign energy, and we have Death, which is Scorpio energy. So if you're born on the cusp with Scorpio, this part of your personality is going to be coming out quite profoundly, or if you have Scorpio or Aries within your chart. And you have to be mindful of this part of your personality encompassing and surpassing that of the Sagittarius nature. So there's going to be a sense of force equals right. The Aries energy kind of burns brighter all at once, and here we want a steadier, much more patient burn, because Sagittarius, you are the most patient fire sign energy, and you want to have that moving forward. And then the Death card is secrecy. So during this time, we're going to be very drawn to people who have this air of power to them, the air of I'm right, you're welcome sort of thing, and that comes from the Lord, the Emperor. With the Death card, we're also going to be very drawn to people who seem mysterious for one way or another. Like we can't quite figure them out. And we're going to just be really just lured in. We're just going to sit there and think, wow, you know, I've met somebody who I just don't get. And that's a really good thing. I want a bit of a challenge during this time. I'm looking for something new, something interesting. And this is everything that I've been looking for. But the fact of the matter is, this person is sneaky. This person holds their secrets and will not reveal them to you. And Sagittarius, that's one of the things that you can't abide. You need to understand the whys and the how comes. You need to see beyond the veil. And if this person is always going to change the game on you, you'll first take it as personal, and then there will be the arguments, there will be the anger, there will be the hurt and the pain coming forward. So we have to be very mindful of this during this time, that there's going to be this air of power that we're drawn to, but also an air of secrecy. And we need to find, it's not going to be that we find the power within the secrets. It's almost going to be we find the power from walking away from the secrets and saying, you want to have your games, you want to have, you know, your little club or certain way of doing things, fine, I have mine. And that's okay, because we have the Empress energy here, which is the sacred feminine energy. We have the sacred masculine energy here. So we have to be very balancing with ourselves during this time, very much in harmony with what we are creating, not just simply the force of power. Now, the chakra energy that we need to be aware of is Sagittarius, August 1st to the 15th, 2021, Sagittarius, angels and spirit guides, is angels and masters. So during this time, it's angels and divinity and the sacred line of our chakra alignment coming forward. And the fact that we are being protected during this time, we just have to realize it. This is the soul star chakra, located 6 inches above our crown. This is very much an awakening. This is very much a greater understanding. This is very much a power moving us forward. And as we embrace the sacredness, we start to embrace ourselves. But we have to come to the realization that there is sacred protective energy around us. And we're going to think, okay, I'm being silly, or okay, you know, I'm imagining things during this time. I'm having ideas like, oh, don't spill the sugar, and then all of a sudden the sugar spills on the floor. And that's just going to be coincidences. It's not. Spirit is talking to us. And this is a time where we have to say, I am aligned with that understanding, with that wisdom that talks to me, that guides me forward, and that opens up the doors to my reality. And that I am protected during this time because I am aligning with this sacred power that's here to help me. It moves us to the hangman. It moves us to a place where we ourselves start seeing things differently than we have before. And by seeing things differently, we start to see ourselves differently. We start to embody and be empowered by the sense of, I'm not supposed to fit in. And this doesn't mean that we have to be reckless about anything or say, you know what, that's it. I'm tired of this. I'm just going to absolutely go against all convention and make myself stand out. We don't need to go to that extreme. What Spirit is saying here is that we need to find the balance of the understanding of us and also know that we were made to stand out. Every single person is made differently. Every single person has different gifts and different powers and different energy vibration to them. And that is simply what being human is. And so just because we're not going to be like everybody else, it does not mean that we're wrong. And it's time to start accepting and embracing the way that we see things differently, the power that is within us, and the fact that we're not like everybody else, and not use it as this rebel, kind of devil may care mentality, but use it as a sacred light and a sacred guidance for us. And it moves us to the Empress. We're going to be seeing here during this time at our root that as we see things differently, we start to create things differently. And we can think, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. But this is a time where we start to see ourselves opening up the door to creation, to bounty, to beautiful understanding, and to a power of our inner self. And the Empress comes in, and the Empress is the person who claims the throne that they did not know they lost, who claims the voice that they did not know was silenced. And that's because we're seeing things, again, not in the convention of everybody else, but in the beauty and the power that we were born to, and we were born to embrace during this time. It leads us to the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift of knowledge, of greater understanding, of insight, and of ideas. We're cutting through a lot of the cobwebs, but there's a beauty, and Spirit is saying, there's a beauty to the cobwebs. There's a beauty to that which is freshly created. But the old cobwebs that have gathered with dust and have served their purpose, those are being taken down. And we're going to see our minds and ourselves moving forward with greater knowledge, greater understanding, and greater beauty of who we are and where it is that we want to be. There is a sense here that we've been practicing for something, we've been training for something, and we might not even know what that is, but it's something that we're drawn to. It's something that has a reason for being in our lives at this time. Now, it can be creatively, we're being drawn to this one thing because it's going to help us in the artwork that we're creating, but it can also be we're being drawn to this because it's going to help us in the mathematical equation or in the, surgery or person that we're seeing as a caregiver, as a doctor during this time. And so we start to open up our eyes differently to the knowledge and to the wisdom that is coming our way. And we say to Spirit, you're leading this to me for my greater understanding. Open the door. Let me see things through new eyes and in new light. And let me have a greater voice, a greater power, and a greater determination forward. It brings us to standing firmly, openly, and honestly in the power of ourselves. As Temperance, as represented by Temperance in the major arcana, we need balance. Balance is intrinsically important to Sagittarius energy. Whether it be your moon, your rising, your sun sign, whether it be within your chart, this is going to be the area of your life where you need things to be harmonized, where you need to look at yourself and find the inquisitive, beautiful balance that brings you deeper and deeper and deeper into the wisdom of the emotions, to the power of your fire, to the brilliance of your voice, and to the steadiness for which you stand on this earth. And this is going to be quite different than what other people think it is, because for others, it is something that is demanded. For you, Sagittarius, it is going to be something that is earned. And this is going to be a time where as you're earning this wisdom, this greater understanding, this power and passion forward, you start to see the things that are out of harmony within your existence, the things where you feel like, okay, it has to be measured out fairly, or you feel like, okay, I'm always giving here and people are always taking there, I'm always taking in this area and people are always giving in that one. I need this harmonizing balance, but I also need things to be fair, equal, and prosperous within my life, but also to open up the door and one day get to the point where it doesn't matter what anybody else gives. My connection with my angels and my spirit guides, my connection with my brilliance and my understanding brings me forward in such a way that it breaks down barriers, that it breaks down boundaries, and I start to see that I am balanced within myself. I start to stand squarely within my space, honoring who I am and where I'm headed. And that brings us to turning inward. You know, sometimes we see the Hermit, and it's going to be very much a time where we don't want the rest of the world to come in, where it can be almost dangerous because we want to be so by ourselves that we can get too much in our own heads. During this time, we have to be mindful of that energy kind of around us during this time, where we just kind of want to dive so deeply into something that it can be all consuming, especially if it is something that has a negative undertone to it, especially if we're studying or researching events in history, or, you know, people's stories that are quite wounding. We have to be very mindful not to dive so deeply into that their scars start to become our scars, or we start to shatter maybe in a different way than they shattered. So we have to be mindful of this during this time. But what we also have to be mindful of is the beauty of silence, is the beauty of looking at our dreams and our desires, and of the torches that we are lighting for ourselves to lead us forward. There's a level of flexibility of the mind when we stop caring what everybody else thinks, because the Hermit is not dressed as, you know, a king. He is dressed as somebody whose clothing has seen the world. Himself, he has seen the world. And so this is a time where we embrace wisdom, knowledge, and experience. We embrace a deeper understanding of who we are and where it is that we want to be. We have to make sure that we don't shut anybody out, but we also have to make sure that what people are saying resonates with us, that it is a powerful way forward. It's not saying you have to think just like me or else I'm not going to listen to you, because that's silly. It's saying here, making sure the energy vibration that we are surrounding ourselves with, making sure the power that is moving forward, making sure the harmony that is part of our life resonates like the bull, sings and vibrates through us openly and honestly and powerfully. And it brings us then to the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is prosperity meant to be shared. It is generational blessings coming forward. It is a sense of community, greater understanding, but a gift coming forward and an end of a cycle within the financial realm. Now, it's very funny because the end of the cycle is one of celebration, but we do have the tendency here to look towards the negative, to have the heart having been wounded around the waking world in one way or another. So we have to really be aware of the poverty mentality that's coming in. And because this is of the waking world, it can be through some sort of abuse, it can be through financial struggles. But here, what Spirit is saying is that we have a tendency to look towards generational curses. And generational curses are just the negative things that were passed down from, you know, father to son, or, you know, mother to daughter, or, you know, whomever, caregiver to those who were cared for. And this is going to be the time where we see ourselves looking at the blessings, looking at the little things that were the light of joy within our lives. Even if it didn't come from our caregivers, even if it came from somebody else, we start to say, why not make that my legacy? Why not make that beauty and that prosperity and that brilliance part of my soul and myself and my desires? And all of a sudden, that opens up a new door. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, you know, I'm the eldest girl in my family, nobody has had a really good marriage for, like, you know, generations, and so this means that I'm doomed. No, this means that I'm starting a new story, that I'm opening up to love, that I'm moving myself forward. It can be something that seems as silly as that, like, why are you making that connection within your life? But this is what we as human beings are prone to do. We're prone to see stories. We're prone to see patterns. We're prone to think, oh, because it happened to this person, it's going to happen to me. No, we're shattering these expectations and seeing these blessings of love and beauty and hopes and dreams and new wisdom to move us forward. It brings us to the Green Man. And the Green Man, the Fool, is the beginning. It's the beginning that is celebrated. It is a new start, a new destiny, a new day. But remember, always, the fool was the person who was laughed at and ridiculed. The fool was always seen as the failure. Why are you being so foolish? Everybody who goes on their hero's journey, everybody who goes against the grain is mocked, isn't understood, until all of a sudden they step into their power. All of a sudden they become that hero. They become that success story. It does not mean that you have to become the founder of Amazon. What it means is that you have to do what is right for you. That resonance of heart and soul and passion and power and beauty, the reason why you were born on this earth, starts to come forward. And there are tentative steps forward. There are tentative steps to say, Am I walking in my light? Am I moving towards what I desire? And these tentative steps are what brings my heart joy. What, when I'm doing it, makes time fall away and me feel like I've come into the realization and the power of myself. Because we're moving out of the poverty mentality. We're moving out of this has to be done. We're moving out of I don't get to be happy. I only have these responsibilities, or I am denied the way that I want to move forward. And we're going to see that this is a time, as we start our hero's journey, as we embrace the unknown and the new path, that we really have to see, where do we self-sabotage? Where is it in our psyches? Where is it in ourselves that we say, I'm not worthy? And why is it that is holding us back? Why is it that we haven't shattered that place within ourselves anymore? Like, why haven't we shattered it already? Why is it still living there? And why are we held back in hurt and in pain? Because there's a reason. There's a reason for it. It's probably stems from a coping mechanism that was developed when we were very little, and the world was small, and the world seemed vast but also small. It was much more contained. It was much more nuclear, and our coping mechanisms made sense. It made sense in our child's brain, but they might not make sense anymore, and they might not have helped to begin with. And so here we look at the hurts and the pains that we were raised with. Here, just when we're being told, go against the generational curses, look at the generational blessings, look at the might that is just simply in being alive. And here, I understand the poison. I understand the hurt and the pain. And it might not even be that the caregiver or the teacher or the friend or the lover, when we were older, meant to be hurtful to us. But they were. And this is a time where we start to say, you know what? I'm done. I'm done, and I'm moving forward. I'm done, and I'm embracing what I desire. Not the way you broke me down. Not the hurt and the pain that you gave me as a legacy. Now I move forward in me, in brightness and joy, and in determined success to balance me. Sagittarius, we need to understand the dark to see the light. We need both. You need the light to have the shadows. This is going to be a time where we need to understand that it is sacred to a Sagittarius to understand the hurt and the pain, as well as the joy and the laughter. It is sacred to us to have the balancing forces, to have the two sides of a coin coming forward, because that's where we live. We live in the balance of energy, and it brings us then to the Five of Swords. This could be something we tried to puzzle out earlier, but this is also going to be something that we lived through before. And again, because we have the Three of Swords here, this is something that has caused us tremendous pain. When we are faced with it during this time, we're going to come with it with like the anger of the ages. We're going to come with it not only as, oh my gosh, this person is a jerk, I can't believe they're a jerk, but all of a sudden it's, the person that abandoned us. It is the person that mocked us. It is everything that was out of our control for so long, and we're going to come to it with rage, and we're going to come at it with rage. And we have to be mindful of this, because the hurt and the pain and the sorrow that we have lived through, we become mindful of. We embrace with awareness, and we say, I see you, and I own you. I call you out. I am not defined by this anymore, by what once brought me to my knees. It is not the story that I need to play over and over and over again in my mind. Now I am successful. Now I stand in my power. Now I see what once ripped me down. And it brings us then to the world opening up in a way that we hadn't expected. To the stars becoming our guidance, to the wisdom of the heavens being our passion forward, to the fact that the world is large, and finding our place within it does not mean that we have to follow one specific path. We open up to the endless wonders of creation and desire and instinct and wish. And we start to see that our world becomes more than what we had thought it was, more than what others had defined it as. And the subconscious energy to be mindful of here, well, first, in the public arena, we have to be mindful of letting other people's hurts and pains becoming our defining factors, or letting the hurts and pains that we have been through within our life being all that defines us. I am the brokenness. I am the hurt. I am the disappointment. Now it is I am the healing. I am the compassion. I am the honor. and I am the strength. And all of a sudden the world opens, because it's no longer this terrible, scary place. It is this place where I'm walking in my vibrational truth. I'm walking in the energy that is right for my soul. It might not be right for your soul, but this is my life, not yours. And it brings us to the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. It's the Prince of Wands. Now, the Prince of Wands is fire sign energy, so it very much calls to us Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So we're going to feel very comfortable around this energy. And what we have to be mindful of is that we have to be mindful in being swept up in other people's battles. We have to be mindful of being swept up in other people's truths and stories and ways forward. This is a time where we can easily lose ourselves and lose what we have to see within our lives, lose the battle that is for us and the hurts that we have been through before, and kind of rewriting that trauma, rewriting the way that we deal with that trauma by being completely swept up in another person's story, in another person's personality and strength and movements forward. It brings us to our subconscious chakra message, which is the universal light. Again, the soul star chakra. It's this light that's shining and illuminating our world. We're seeing things in ways that we hadn't seen them before, in ways that break boundaries and set us free. Our subconscious rooted self is the death card. So as much as we have to be mindful of death, we also have to know that this dying away of the old self, this rebirth of the new, the seeing things and releasing, it's going to be very important. It's not the same world that we woke up in. You know, there's going to be the sense of the world has changed and I have changed within it. We also have to mourn the person that we once were, give honor to that person. Because a lot of times we look back and we go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this, or oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And that's okay, that shows growth. But if we harp on it, if we beat ourselves up over it, we'll never get to the place that we want to be. And so the death card says, I'm transforming. I'm transforming in a more powerful and in a more awakened way than ever before. And also the quiet is going to be important to us. That's why we're going to be drawn to other people's secrets, because secrets and mysteries and, you know, deeper knowledge that other people do not see, that is going to be our bread and butter for our time. That's going to be like everything. And so we have to be aware of it, and we have to be aware of the transformation that comes within us. Our subconscious inner self is the Three of Pentacles, slowly and steadily working and creating. It's quiet. You know, we have the red poppies here, which are also for remembrance, but there is a sense of listening to the quiet, and the sense of sleep, the sense of daydream, the sense of this is what I'm creating for myself. We also have to be aware as we are falling into our work, as we are falling into it's not the steady monotony, but you know when you are creating something and your mind just kind of falls into it and that becomes all that is. We have to be aware of our money. Here she's guarding it with her foot and with this jug, so nobody's going to be able to steal from her. This is going to be a time where we're giving so much of our soul and ourselves to things that we can let kind of the more business side of it fall away, and we have to be mindful of that. We have to be able to protect that which we have earned. It moves us then to our subconscious emotional self. And this is the Queen of Pentacles. Prosperity, success, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If you're born on the cusp with Capricorn or have Earth sign energy within your chart, this is going to come through very profoundly. There's going to be an air of wealth, of spiritual wealth, of greater understanding, of well-earned success. And that's going to be something that we have to embrace during this time. We have to open up to see what we desire. To say, I deserve to stand here. I deserve to watch these seeds grow. I deserve to embrace what I have nourished. And it brings us then to our subconscious public self. And that is the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. But it is the Pope in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. You know, it is the Pope depicted, you know, within the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And this is going to be a time where we claim our power. We claim the ascension of our understanding, where we stand in power and purpose and say, but this is me. No longer apologizing, no longer hiding, no longer feeling as if I just don't fit. We say, but this is me. And there's beauty and there's intensity and there is abundance to it. And I get to embrace that. This is also the truth that we cannot turn away from. the power within us that we cannot deny. Because if we deny a bit of it, or if we deny it altogether, we feel as if we're living half lives. We feel as if we're not doing what we were supposed to do, what we were placed on this earth to do. So do be very mindful of this during this time. Sagittarius, we're also going to work, and it's going to be really interesting, we're also going to work really well and subconsciously be drawn to things that are institutions, things that have been around for a while. This could be sacred knowledge that we are learning to better our spiritual lives or to better our lives in general. This could be, looking at things and saying, okay, how do I line up my financial portfolio? How do I look at all the savings that I need to have, or all the ways that things need to be, and start opening up that way for it. So here with the Hierophant, we're going to find that we might be seeking out guidance from people who are experts, and looking at those experts. It could be online or it could be in person, looking at those experts for guidance, for wisdom. And we have to take what resonates with us and leave the rest. That's going to be important, because we can make ourselves crazy trying to do absolutely everything. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the difference that makes us profoundly abundant. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius.